When will we find consistency? It's honestly getting to the point where it's just like, yes, it's frustrating, but it's just disappointing more than anything, because I want to believe that this coach and this manager will lead us to a Premier League trophy. But just seeing these results just pile up and pile up, especially after a game that we saw against Manchester City, makes it incredibly frustrating and disappointing. It's just, how do we go from beating Manchester City 4-0 at their home ground to drawing against Roma when we should have closed that game out a long time ago? We had bare chances. We should have closed that game out a long time ago. And then to drawing against Fulham. It's tough, man. It's tough. And listen, I'll be completely honest, so I'll just keep it a buck. We have hella injuries. But it makes it even more frustrating when the manager, the office, Levy, everyone was telling us that we had a good window, and signings like Gray and Bergwall were signings that are going to push us. In fact, that made us rethink our entire transfer window because we were so happy with how well they were trending along. If they're good enough, why have they not started a single Premier League match? And this is a sentiment that I'm hearing throughout the entire Spurs fan base. But I have a different take on that, and I'll tell you why. Do I believe that Ange is telling the truth when he genuinely said that Archie Gray and Lucas Bergwall are good enough to be in the squad and they're Premier League ready? Yes. However, does that mean that they're good enough to start matches? No. I think that Ange believes that those two are of quality that where they're good enough that he can throw them on for 10 minutes in a Premier League match to help us see out games and, give us some stability when we are like up or like about to close out a game. But I don't think he believes that they're good enough to start games or win games for us. And this has just been evident because he hasn't started them a single Premier League match yet. So, with that being said, I think they thought that they are serviceable and they can help us see out games and stuff like that. But are these players good enough to help us win games or take the game by the neck and see it through like that to help us win? No, clearly they are not. They are young kids, man. You know what's a problem when we're having to rely on 18-year-olds to help us win games. And for the lack of Premier League minutes that we've seen from them this season, it's clearly evident that Ange does not believe that these players are good enough to help us win these games. They're serviceable. We can throw them in for 10, 15 minutes, whatever, to help us see out a game when we're already up and winning. But for them to help us win games, that's just naive, bro. Naive. I genuinely think that Ange does not believe that they're going to help us win games. But however, in the game against Fulham, we saw them come on. And what choice did Ange really have? I mean, our bench was thin. We have no options. Our only player who started Premier League games on our bench was Kulusevski. No other player on that bench has started a Premier League game this season. So I want to have some mercy and be a little bit, sentimental, I guess, about it, and understand that, okay, we have Romero, Van de Ven, Richarlison, Odegaard, Solanke, Mikey Moore, Vicario. Who else am I missing? We have hella starting, at least 5 or 6 starting 11 players out. So I understand that we are very, very hamstrung. In fact, we're probably in an injury crisis right now, but no one's talking about that. But it's also frustrating when the board and Ange said that we had a very successful transfer window and that Ange was happy with all the signings that we brought in, and it was all peaches and roses and that we're good. And even when we're full strength, we sometimes struggle to beat these teams, i.e. the Newcastle, i.e. the Arsenal, which Arsenal were a good team, but we could have well went on and beaten them that game too. Even got gotten a draw. We probably could have gotten a draw from that game as well. Brighton away as well, same thing. So even when we are full strength, it just doesn't make sense how the board was so happy. And then I'm pretty sure I saw in a quote Ange said a couple days ago that, he doesn't have this big budget that the other teams have and you can't get any player that he wants. Brother, you said that any player that comes in you're happy with, and you make the call that, yes, I want them in, and you're happy with it. And you said at the start of the season that you were happy with the window. So you cannot go back on your word now and say I don't have the budget, bro. You can't do that, man. And I love Ange, man. I love Ange, but you just can't be doing that, bro. But I do have some mercy and on him just because of how many numbers that we have out. But it's just frustrating, man. It's so frustrating to go from destroying Man City like that to seeing what's been happening these last 2 games. And granted, we drew, but it feels like a loss. We haven't lost 3 games, but we drew. So it feels like a loss. And these are games that we should have won. It's frustrating, man. It's honestly frustrating. Listen, December is going to be very, very tough. Very, very tough. And this December will determine whether this Ange project will work or not work. Bournemouth, Chelsea, Liverpool's in there. Man United Carabao Cup ties in there. We got some tough tough games in there, man. And if we go to the Carabao Cup, I don't know if Ange will be able to keep his job at the end of December, man. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. Like, okay, Bournemouth, I could totally see us losing that. But if we can take Chelsea, man, oh, man, that would be a saving grace. That'd be a huge win for us. So it's just a matter of Ange getting the right results at the right times. If he can get Manchester United and Chelsea, and we can just scrape through whatever else happens within the rest of the month, I think he keeps his job. If he can beat Chelsea, and especially beat Man United, he keeps his job. Man United is the key one, though. He needs to win that game. If he loses that game. But it's clear that the Ange project is working. It's just a tough process because of how many people that we have out. You know, Son is aging. Like, he's not the same player that he used to be. Granted, I think that's still overproportioned because he's had still a really good season, but he's not the same. He can't play 90 minutes every single game. But it's clear that the foundation is there. And I've said this so many times on Twitter or on X, whatever you want to call it. I've made so many tweets about this. The foundations are there. We were never going to become contenders in a year and a half, right? It just wasn't going to happen. But the foundation is there. The squad needs help. And I don't mean 18-year-olds or 19-year-olds. Levy, we've got enough of these players, man. Why can't we balance between signing young players and signing older players? For the longest time, we signed old players that were washed and were out on the tail end of their careers. And then now we've switched to like this more younger model where we sign like a bunch of young guys. And some of them have turned out pretty decent, but then a lot of them have also, you know, they're years away. They're like 2, 3, 4 years away. We need to get players in now, bro. Now. I don't know if Ange's going to be here in 3 or 4 years. We need players for the now. So why can we not do both and build for the future as well as getting players in for the now? So this January window is going to be huge. I doubt we're going to spend a whole bunch of money, man. I honestly doubt it. But if we want to see this Ange project succeed, we need to open our wallets, bro. We need to break the bank, man. Like, we have no choice. We need a backup goalkeeper for sure. We need backup fullbacks for Porro and Udogie, or at least one of them, because they're clearly overworked and Jed Spence isn't getting minutes for some reason. We need offensive help because clearly our players are not doing good enough at the front line. Let's talk about Brennan Johnson, bro. Let's talk about it because I know he's getting the goals and I'm so happy for him. I don't condone the abuse, or I don't support the abuse that he had at all. In fact, it's actually just really unfortunate. We absolutely need to talk about Brennan Johnson. And hear me out, because this might be a hot take, even though it shouldn't be. When Brennan Johnson is not scoring tap-in goals, what is he doing? Answer me, what is Brennan Johnson doing? Hell, I'd even argue, and this might be crazy, I would even argue that Timo Werner may have more of an effect on games than Brennan Johnson, at least in the recent times. If Brennan Johnson is not scoring tap-in goals, he's offering almost nothing for us. We saw it against Roma when Brennan Johnson got the ball and he passed it back. Ange lost his shit because the whole point for wingers is to take on their fullback. This is why I miss Wilson Odebear so much, because Wilson Odebear, in the short time that he was able to play for us, was taking on his man 2, 3, 4 times a game. And while it wasn't successful, do you know how refreshing it was to see this man trying to actually take on his fullback? When Brennan Johnson gets the ball, I just sigh and I'm just like, oh, because you know what he does? He gets the ball, he doesn't even look forward, bro. He just passes back, man. Or when he does get the ball, he does some rush cross in that just goes nowhere, or he gets blocked. And even with that rush pass that he does, or he tries to get it in to our striker or the other winger, he does it maybe like once or twice a game. What happened to Brennan Johnson that was doing this 3, 4 times a game when he was actually getting like the ball in? Now we're seeing Timo Werner actually do that. Get those hard low crosses in, you know, for the other winger, whether it be Johnson or getting in the Sun or whoever it may be. Why is Brennan Johnson not doing what he used to do? And I do agree that he's improved a lot, and he's getting the goals. But bro, if he's not scoring, what is he offering? Man, like, I've been watching some Chelsea games, I've been watching some of these Arsenal games, hell, even Liverpool, Manchester City. I look at guys like Doku, Saka, Neto, Diaz, Salah. I just sigh, man. I'm like, damn, bro, look at these wingers, like, taking on their fullback, being dynamic, shifting in and out, cutting inside, cutting outside. You just don't know what you're gonna get with them. And it's crazy. And I look at Brennan Johnson, man. This guy just runs in a straight line and just throws the ball in. That's all he does, bro. Run in a straight line and just throw the ball in, man. It's just frustrating because when I saw Wilson Odebear play for us, man, this guy was so dynamic. And I genuinely believe that Wilson Odebear is a really good signing. I think in the future, once he starts to get better and better and gets more experience, he will be such a good signing for us, man. He is such a dynamic, amazing player. But man, it's just when Brennan Johnson isn't scoring, man, he doesn't do anything. He cannot drag us out of games. We've seen Son drag us from the depths sometimes, man. With Brennan Johnson, we just don't get that. We just don't. So we need offensive help, man. We just do. And last but not least, we need a number 6. We need a monster number 6 to be able to shut shit down in the middle, bro. Pardon my French, but I'm just so sick and tired of our midfield getting ran through, man. It's just disappointing. But yeah, let me know what you think, Spurs fans. I mean, like, how are we feeling? Like, let me know down in the comments, like, what you're thinking. It's honestly cardio supporting this team, bro. If I'm just keeping it a buck, it's genuinely cardio. But I'm still optimistic. I still believe, and I just think we got to get through this December. If we can get through December, get through the transfer window, I genuinely think things could look up for us. I genuinely do. But shit, this month's gonna be tough, man. We just gotta stick together. We gotta rally around this team. Even though I know it can be hella hard and you can argue that they don't deserve it sometimes, but they are handicapped and we have a lot of injuries, man. So we just have to back the boys straight up. But yeah, if you guys like my content, like my videos, make sure to give me a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, follow me on Twitter, and follow me on TikTok as well. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace. Yeah!